Hey, finally, it's living up to its name, being the lifted Civic. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode. My name is Ben. I'm one of the digital media producers here at S3 Magazine. And here beside me is sitting, now back on the lift instead of on jack stands, our project lifted Civic. This week we made some very major progress on this car thanks to our sponsor TruHart. TruHart not only makes the upper arms for this car, but they also make coilovers and all sorts of suspension components, even airlift stuff for you guys out there wanting to get lower instead of lifted like this car. If you're looking to seriously upgrade your suspension, you should definitely check out TruHart at TruHart.com. So let's just get into this week's upgrades that we've done to this car. The front suspension is pretty much fully installed minus some brakes, and we need to get some new tie rod ends because these are absolutely shot beyond belief. We actually got the car rolling on the original Steelies that came with the vehicle and just used a couple of open-ended lug nuts we had lying around the shop here, and we're able to pull it out. And you know, the tie rod ends are so completely gone that when Jake was trying to steer the car out of the garage, it took like almost a half turn for the car to even move anywhere. That's how absolutely worn they are. And we didn't really tighten down the nuts on the bottom, so they're a little loose anyway, but still needs replacement. It'll be on the way here in an upcoming episode. Also, again, thank you so much to TruHart for supplying us with the upper arms. We got them installed and they are looking wonderful. They fit perfectly. They're made for this model series, so Civics, and I think they also fit a couple of other models from Honda as well. But I know that TruHart has a bunch of options out there, and this is what all the lifted Honda guys are running is their stuff. So we're very thrilled to have them on board as a sponsor of this build. So thank you again to those guys over at TruHart for sending us those arms. They would fit perfectly. Now, onto the spindles. You may remember a few weeks ago we got the hubs pressed in. Those spindles are now installed on the vehicle along with the strut spacers on top and the subframe kit all together. So all of that combined, this car now sits up in the front a whole 6 inches more than it did before. It is absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, we pulled the car out into the driveway here, and all we basically did was just take a look at it in the daylight and see what it looked like. And it looks like a squatted truck from the Carolinas, the Carolina Squat Stance. Yeah, that's the Carolina Squat Stance Honda Civic. It's totally crazy because it's like the hubs, the way it's situated now at the lift, the hubs sit about 4 inches down below the body line of the car in the front, and then they sit up about 2 to 3 inches in the back. So to give you kind of a point of reference, this front kit really is gigantic from HRG. I mean, like, these guys did such a good job designing that kit to play well with all the other suspension components. Like, we were really worried that we might be maxing out the capabilities of the TruHart arms, but they worked absolutely fine, and we even have adjustment to get them in line for perfect straight up and down camber when the time comes for us to align it. And we don't even have the engine in, which I'll segue into that here in a minute. But all of the suspension here in the front is pretty much fully assembled. We're very excited about it. We got all this finished and knocked out in just a few hours, and I'm very happy with the results. Now, moving on to what's about to happen with this. Sitting behind the camera here is our B20 Z2 engine from the Honda CR-V donor car that's sitting outside, and we are going to take and get it in here and mock it up. And we've got some very exciting news that we'll introduce to you guys next week on that as well. But our next steps are going to be basically lifting this back up in the air and getting that engine and transmission on a jack and lifting it up into the engine bay from below, because it really can't fit in from the top, or it shouldn't. It's a whole process, and we've basically done a little bit of math and figured it's just going to be easier of a process to see if it'll all line up by putting it in from below. So anyway, that's our next step, and that's where we're currently at. But man, this thing looks absolutely wild and incredible. Just like the whole front end, seeing it up in the air so much. And on these stock size tires too, these are like 175, 60, 14s or something like that. They're absolutely tiny and narrow, and we're gonna end up putting a much bigger size tire on it. If you remember back during the shop tour, Jake was showing off his Gambler car outside, and it has like a 28.5, 29-inch tall tire on it, and we'll be doing the same thing with this one as far as tire size goes. So we're gonna have to be doing some cutting. We mocked up a tire just beside it to see how much is gonna have to be cut, and it's quite a bit. The bumper has to be cut, and the firewall is gonna have to be shaved and trimmed down, but that'll all come in future episodes. So great progress this week. I'm very happy with how the car is coming along, and seeing it roll outside and having the lift on the front of it for the first time is really it's a crazy sight to see. So when we get the front end done, we'll work on the rear end and getting all the components fit back there as well. Introduce to you guys a couple more brands and people on that too, so stick around, make sure you're subscribed there. And you know, if you like what you're seeing, leave us a like on the video, let us know that you're watching, or comment down below just to let me know how I'm doing. That'd be really great. And then if you're not subscribed already to Jake's channel, Slightly Mangled, be sure you're subscribed to that channel. He's gonna have a far more detailed build of everything that's going on. I think we recorded about 45 minutes of video today on just this front end final assembly steps. So go check out his channel. He's got how to install the subframe kit on there already, and then here within the next week or two we'll have the rest of the kit assembled on that channel as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.